Go, take everything, I want you to go. Take everything, I need you to. Den, den, den, den, den, den, den, den, den, den, den. Hello, everybody, all 9 of you, all 10 of you. Welcome to the CM Kozeman Midday Fatigue Stream. Hearts are coming in, people are coming here. It's a lovely middle of the week. I hope you can hear me all clear. Yes. Hey man, says Mikin. Hey man, says Oreosaurus. Hayon Kim says hello. Something about Games Awards being around, but out here we don't care much about games, stranger, because this is the land of the weird, land of the free. I believe it's also St. Nicholas Day today, so yeah. I hope you're all having a nice time. I shaved for you, I dressed up all nicely for you, and well, I'm having difficulty picking up names for these streams. I just usually have one in the middle of the week or sometimes a weekend one, so I just give them strange names, whatever. But today I have been feeling midweek fatigue because in my infinite wisdom, I first went to the ravioli place and had like a big ass ravioli dish, which is like, it's actually something called mantı, which is Turkish ravioli. All right. So I had a lot of that. Then I was a big glutton. So I had a big dish of like creamy, cold desserts. And I walked around and shit. Then I just had to go and have a big bowl of fish soup. Now, you know what all of those things did to me, mixing up. I mean, suffice it to say, I was like this close to like hurling and vomiting and churning and shit up until an hour ago. But now, with the magic of your friendship, I feel better. I feel healed. Hello, everybody. 2 minutes. I'll just give you 1 more minute. Call your friends, call your strangest acquaintances, call your work friends. I don't know. Give answers send unsolicited messages to everyone on your WhatsApp, just with the links of this stream. Let's get some bodies in this room because it's winter and it's kind of cold. Yeah, we'll be keeping warm with your company and your body temperature. Yes. Fish Mountain and Tatlı, yeah. Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello, says Absent Fish, which is a Simpsons song. It's the song that Mr. Burns sings when everybody mistakes him for an alien. But yeah, I'm well versed on my Simpsons deepest lore. Mikin is here, straight from Zukon, which I was unable to attend this year. But if you, who here has been in Zukon recently? Let me know. Let me know and let me get some stuff. Oh. Yeah. Yep. 15 people watching. Hello, you all. What the fuck is Zukon, says Bot Pirate. Okay, it's a convention organized by my close friends Darren Naish and John Conway. It takes place in London every year, usually around the first of, like the beginning of December. And it's a conference where a bunch of artists, paleontologists, and just like vertebrate science people come together and talk about tetrapods, which are like interesting animals, basically. And throughout years, it has gained popularity. I went to attend it last year, but yeah, no such luck today or this year. But If you went, I hope you had a great time. Absent Fish was there for the field trip, thanks to Mikin. Okay, so I think it's two Zukon attendees. Hello, says Kojira. Wow, we got YouTube royalty among us. Kojira, who you can see in the chat, actually runs a very popular Turkish channel for paleo related matters. And I can only salute you, my man, because he produces his content in Turkish. And this means a lot of views and like a lot of potential revenue, but it also means a lot of Turkish commenters. Now, I will not tar any nation or country or citizens of any nation or country, but unfortunately, as things stand now, Turkish is one of the pariah languages of the internet. If you prepare anything in it, eventually you're going to run into religious zealots, fanatics, or people whose faculties of reason are so stunted, like they're basically like these. So okay, I got a banana here. Okay, I said, hey, this is a banana. It's yellow and it's curvy, and like one of these fuckers will come on. I don't know what gives them this kind of self-confidence. They say, oh no, bananas are blue. You say no. Well, bananas are blue because I saw one, and like they just don't take no for an answer. They are, well, I mean, like a difficult bunch to deal with. So our man Kojira here, go follow his channel. He broadcasts in a language that's in common with a lot of characters like this. And every now and then I see he has some exasperated posts, like someone denies that dinosaurs are real, or someone attacks him because they're flat earthers and stuff. Like, you think American cyberspace is bad? Oh boy. That's not banana, that's God. Well, yes, in a way, everything is the essence of God. There's a nice label here. Let's peel it off. Oh God. Oh shit. Oh damn it. I can't peel it off. Anyways, I was gonna stick it to our sketch pad right here. Yep, everybody's in. It's been 7 minutes. Let's get this show on the road. The banana, which must be God. No, it's not going to be a banana eating session, unfortunately. Steve Melb Cannon, another great Spec Evo presence. We got all the nice, cool people. Ha! Kojira says, every time I mention Megalodon, the comments I get from my Turkish audience are, oh God. Well, yeah. I mean, also a lot of kids in your audience. So I think you have to find like, I mean, the best way is not to engage. If someone's being a jerk, just ban them, move on. Oh, yeah. So 15 people in the house in the middle of the week, not a bad number. Let's start with the usual. Where are you all from? Where are you all hailing from? Let's do our roll call. Normally I have like tea, coffee, all sorts of liquids, but because of my upset stomach tonight, I'm only doing the whole banana and water routine. Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? Let me know. Oh, God. Welcome to CM Kozeman's Kitchen of Dreams. Okay, let me know where you're from while I draw you, I don't know, a banana of God or something. So yeah. Yeah, this is a banana. By the way, I really like the mottled textures on bananas. So yeah. So this is my idea of a banana. But if it's the banana of God, I don't know. Maybe it has a kind of saint's halo around it. Do you halo, halo, halo? And so let's write banana in Greek. Ba Does the Greek language have the letter N? I'll pretend it does. In Greek Orthodox iconic style. So as you can see here, banana of God in Greek Orthodox style. So you have M and P, which reads as B in the Greek language. Pa, na. Now, my Greek is a bit rusty, so maybe they have something else for the letter N, but yeah. And just to do a Byzantine twist, sometimes in Byzantine icons, you have a letter S, that's a squiggly line. All right. So, everybody, who is from where? Krista, one of my most generous donors this week with commissions and stuff, is from Oregon, US. Nice. Mikin just arrived at good old Slovakia. That's not nice. But Pirate is international. I don't know what that means in this day and age, but right now in Florida for holiday. Florida, man. Steve Mopkanen is from Germany. Great. Paprose is from Istanbul, living in Virginia. Man, I envy you. I never thought I'd say this, but I kind of envy people living in the States these days. Essex. Absent Fish is from Essex. Feels dirty writing in it. Well, to some, that's a pleasure. Slothman Prophecies is from Florida. Daspad is from Colombia. Well, be well, my friend. A part of the world I also want to see someday. Looks like they're kind of preparing for another regional war up there, huh? With Venezuela's proposed invasion of Guyana. Gong Fu Warrior is from Malopolska, Poland, checking in. Hello. Blake Richardson says, hello, Blake. 17 people watching. All right. Everybody's in the house from all around the world. Once again, we've gathered all the eclectics and the smart, cool people here. All right, so let's get your questions about life, evolution, evolutionary history. Also, if you feel charitable, please consider subscribing to my Patreon. You know, those donations buy all these bananas. Also consider subscribing to my... Also consider going to the gift shop and getting some merchandise, CM Kozman merchandise. I am also working on a big new video I think you really are going to like. It's going to be about the things you see when you're sleeping, dreams, from a very interesting perspective, which I hope you will enjoy. But Pirate says they bought the Criminal Cryptid hoodie for someone as a gift. Wow. The Criminal Cryptid hoodie, although everybody can wear it, it's in my gift shop. It's a very sexy girl coded kind of hoodie. So I hope whoever you bought it for will be happy that you got it for them. Yes. Yes, I knew you got it for a girl, but Pirate. Well, happy pirating on those seas. What can I say? By the way, if anyone gets my merchandise and gets pictures of themselves or others in it, please send them to me on my email. You would probably know how to reach me. Please, I really want to see how people look in those things, because actually designing them is not that easy. I look at all sorts of templates, and yet the graphics are not very complex. But so if you're working online and you're designing a t-shirt, most people just lay out the image here. So it's like this. Whereas you have to put it kind of low, but not too low. So yeah. Oh yeah. Kojira says, in my father's side, I'm probably from the worst city in Turkey. But as the worst city in Turkey, he mentions Konya, which is ancient Iconium, a city with a great heritage or in Byzantine history, Ottoman history, and even preceding eras. So like obviously you are from there and you're entitled to trash it. It's a bit like, well, ethnic slurs, I guess. But in my opinion, Konya is a very laid back, sweet city. Actually, when I was like a student and I would visit Turkey, I would meet people from Konya, and they were always like archaeology students. They were very chill. The rest of the city is pretty conservative, and yeah, yeah, but there are far more conservative places. I don't know. Although then my perspective could be like an outsider's, slightly Oriental affliction, but who knows? I mean, I would rather live in Konya than in certain parts of Istanbul. So, so if you ever visit Konya, there's actually a great fast train that goes from Istanbul to Konya. You're free to visit it. It's a livable city. I don't see anything much wrong with it. Anyways, Mikin asks, were you involved in the creation of the all Yesterdays Swan models? So yes, one of my most famous artworks is basically a rendition of swans as like dinosaur-like monsters. So it's a creature like this. It's done with the same mistakes we see in many dinosaur artwork these days. So imagine in the future, somebody with no idea of what birds look like finds a swan skeleton and tries to reconstruct it as a kind of like sight-armed creature. So it's something like this, you know, a naked creature, because these future speculative paleontologists don't know about feathers. They just draw it with a kind of sight-like arm, and maybe they think it helps it hunt, like catch fish in underwater. So I have a drawing of swans like this, basically, and yeah, that's it. And it was a very famous drawing in my book with John Conway and Darren Naish, All Yesterdays. And this year at Zukon, they had actually toys based on this drawing for sale in Tetsukan. Now, these toys were made by an artisan, so he made them by hand in batches. And unfortunately, there was no remuneration to me. I mean, I did not get paid for the rights of this model. But then again, I don't think did John Conway, because the same guy also made artwork, sculptures depicting a creature from one of John Conway's artworks in that same book. So it was kind of like a gentleman's and like kind of like a friend kind of thing on my behalf. But I asked them distinctly to like at least reserve one copy for me. You know, that's the best you can do. So next time I'm in London, I could get it from you or Darren. And I don't know if anyone's kept up that end of that bargain. So yeah, that's the story of the All Yesterdays Swan. Basically, I just gave it to this guy out of my goodwill so he could make it. But yeah, I don't care. It's just an artifact. But I would love to receive a copy. Like if the artist who made these swans, and I'm sorry for forgetting your name, if you are watching this, please reserve a copy for me. Why Must says, thoughts on Pokemon? I like it. I think it's a great show. It was a big deal when I was growing up. And there was a famous news of the kid who thought he was Pikachu and jumped from a window. And it was like, then there were all these like stories about strobes in Pokemon giving strokes and basically, what's the name of that illness? When you watch a strobe, you get a stroke basically. God, yeah. So that was a big deal, but I think it's a great show and it's like great for instilling a love of diversity and nature and even paleontology to kids at an early age. It's no wonder why many kids growing up with Pokemon in the past are now interested in art or life sciences. I like it. Epilepsy, yeah. Epileptic stuff. Kojira says, do you know the Mesozoic crocodile discovered in Turkey, Turcosuchus? and he made one of the few depictions of Turcosuchus that's really nice. Crocodiles were far more diverse in the past, and apparently there's a fossil species known from Turkey too. It looks like a caiman. I've seen the skeletal reconstructions. It looks like a caiman with like a slightly broader snout, but yeah, it's cool. And they named it Turcosuchus. Very nice too. There is a Tyrannosuchus too, if I'm not mistaken. No. Yeah, there's also like a related species, maybe not related. It's called Tyrannosuchus. It's a relative of the alligators, a distant relative of alligators. So yeah, it's one of the two crocodiles named after the Turkish or Turkic people. But yeah, Turkey has a sad lack of dinosaur or dinosaur adjacent fossils, but we make that up with like a wealth of mammalian fossils. Like they're like gomphotheres, elephants, weird giraffes, giraffids, all sorts of stuff. There's even like an early Australopithecine adjacent creature called Ankarapithecus, the Ankara monkey. And it did not act as the mayor. That's all I can say. Any more questions? Come on, 23 people, bring it on. Let's see. Let's see how long I can last tonight. Any random book recommendations, says Pascal Goulian. Well, I'll do that physically. Let me just go to my library with my eyes closed, okay? I'll get my glasses off so I can't see shit. I'll just go to my library and like reach into a shelf and like bring out something. Wait. Okay, not even I didn't even look at this one. Oh! It's that one. Curious Myths of the Middle Ages by Sabine Baring-Gould. A very nice primer, basically, on lots of strange myths from basically the Middle Ages. It's a kind of surface level book, but as you read it, it gets really deeper. It's got things like, well, the man on the moon. So, you know, the famous face people used to see on the moon. And there's even like little drawings about him, or even a poem. See the rustic in the moon, how his bundle weighs him down. Thus his sticks the truth reveal. It never profits man to steal. Cool things like this. Amazing book. I think I read this from cover to cover. Yeah. You see, Daddy Kozman here has got all sorts of bureaucratic stuff, you know. So I got my library stamp, and I got this stamp which shows when I started reading this and when I finished reading it. So apparently in 2021, during probably one of the shittiest phases of the COVID pandemic, I picked this up on the 23rd of May, and I finished reading it on 18th of June. What a nice book. I may have been like partly sick with COVID at that time. But it's actually, this has all the nice stuff about Melusine. Fuck. Have you heard of Melusine? Okay, like, who here is a fan of like sexy problematic women? And who here is a fan of reptiles? Well, if these are your areas of interest, you will like the myth of Melusine. Basically, it was, let me refresh. So there was this weird and beautiful lady named Melusine, okay, and this Count of Péteux in French, and wait, let me freshen up. So the Count of Péteux, Raymond, was basically, was he the Count? No, he was actually one of the henchmen of the Count, okay? They were out in a forest and something happened. They were hunting boar and his masters died. Now, Raymond went off into the wood, but among the trees, illuminated by the new moon, in the midst bubbled up a limpid fountain. Look, look, look, lots of water bubbling, steaming, okay, by the new moon, and flowed away over a pebbly floor with a soothing murmur, like I just came on my pants right here. Lots of stuff. And near the fountain sat three maidens in glimmering white dresses with long waving hair and faces of inexpressible beauty, says this book. So Raymond was, of course, like, God damn, fuck. He was like, just clicking open OnlyFans or some shit. He was like struck with beauty. And he thought he was seeing angels, but one of them actually came close to him and like touched him. And he was like, oh, I think he needed a change of pants right there. Anyways, what happened? What happened? So he told this sexy bubble bath lady about his story, and she was like listening very intently. Yeah, yeah. So they spoke until the daybreak, just in the DMs, chatting and stuff, talking about life, tribulations, all sorts of stuff. But then he had to go, this guy Raymond. But before he left her, he obtained from her a promise to be his. Yes, she told him to ask of his kinsman Bertram as gift so much ground around the fountain where they had met that could be covered by a stag's hide. Upon this ground, she undertook to erect a magnificent palace. So, like, he basically gave her some land and she built a palace there. Her name, she told him, like, they talk all night and only then. Oh, by the way, what was your name? Her name, she told him, was Melusine. She was a water fairy of great power and wealth. His, she consented to be, but under one condition, that on Saturdays, this girl, crazy girl, Melusine, I don't know what happened to the other two maidens, but on Saturdays, she didn't want anyone to see her, not for on the pain of death. She said, like, I'll be yours. I'll build this castle here around this fountain, but Saturdays, get the fuck out. Just walk around. I don't know what you do. Drink some fish soup and shit. But, just leave me alone, God damn it. I think this is a universal truth, even in the present day of age. And like, a little alone time, makes everyone miss each other. Okay, then Melusine creates this magical, magnificent castle, and actually they marry Raymond, so it's very nice. But then in the evening, they're married, like, she's like, and then like he's like, babe, what's wrong? And it's like, what's wrong, God damn it? And like, it's kind of like marriage, boo-ha-ha. She's like, and she was like, never look at me in Saturdays. I don't know what's wrong with Fast Saturdays for this crazy chick. But okay. So he swears, okay, God damn it, okay, I swear to you, my life, I'm never gonna look at you on Saturdays. I mean, come on. He did everything for her. He bought her a Criminal Cryptid t-shirt, got her all sorts of CM Cosman merchandise. That's a little self-insert there. Anyways, their marriage continues. And then, basically, Melusine keeps building this castle so much that she actually becomes a sort of noble person, and actually she names herself Lucinia, and to this day the name has been corrupted into Lusignan, which is another French noble family name. All right, all right. So like, I think like there's this like old adage. So there's this triangle, okay? One of the sides of the triangle is, well, sex. And another side of the triangle is money. And another side of the triangle is peace of mind. And this is the triangle. And in each relationship, it's kind of rumored. If you ever been around people, you will probably know you can only pick two. You can only pick two, motherfucker. You can have money and peace. You can have sex and money, or you can have sex and peace, but live in a trailer. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know my choice. I don't know what yours are. So these guys had money and probably good time between the sheets. I don't know. But they did not have peace of mind because in a short time, Melusine, who built this castle and then became this noble lady, okay, gave birth to a son who was baptized Urian, but he was a strangely shaped child. His mouth was large, his ears were pendulous. He had pendulous ears, okay. One of his eyes was red, the other eye green. So they gave birth to David Bowie or some shit, or Marilyn Manson. I don't know, kid like this. What a trip, huh? And in a year, she gave birth to another child, you know, Melusine. But this child was called Geddes, and these names are sexy as hell. First kid was called Urian. What a nice name. Another kid, Geddes. Nice. But this kid also had some weird shit with him. His face was scarlet, like that of a manticore or the butt of a baboon. Very strange. And then Melusine had a third child who was christened Gyot. That's Gyot. But this child was also a freak because one of his eyes was higher up on her forehead, on his forehead. So then she had another son. I mean, this Melusine just keeps him pumping. Was called Anthony, which is like a common name. I don't know. But Anthony was very strange because he had long claws on his fingers and he was covered with hair. And then the next child, who's not named, had only a single eye. And the next child, who was called, get this, Jeffrey with the tooth. Jeffrey with the tooth. The next child had like something like a boar's tusk coming out from his mouth, you know. So every child this girl had was monstrous and deformed, you know. So years passed, and Raymond's love for his beautiful wife never languished. But every Saturday, she was having girl day, you know, cutting up avocados, having a bubble bath, and feeling accomplished, just doom scrolling on Instagram and shit, just living the best life. But, you know, Raymond was like, God damn, what's he doing? What's she doing out there? And like, God damn. And he was curious, you know. And the kids, they were deformed, but, you know, they grew up well. They were brave warriors. One of them joined the church and became a really pious monk and stuff like that. Whatever, a lot of things happens. So then there are all these rumors, like people come to Raymond saying, oh man, it's cool, but, you know, your family, like your kids are kind of weird. You know, I mean, it's okay. I got friends like that, but you know what? What's with all these one-eyed kids and shit? And then they actually like implicated Raymond, saying like, hey, what you doing? What kind of a man are you? What kind of a man are you? Who the fuck leaves their wife alone? Who the fuck leaves their wife alone for Saturdays? What are you, some like pussy slave? And this was the kind of rap he was getting. And then he grew like resentful. And then one day he couldn't take it anymore. He arranged some like spy trickery shit. Read the rest of this book to find out. This is a great book. And I've been speaking for 20 minutes. Hello. I just got a message saying the connection was interrupted. Can anybody confirm that they have been listening to me? Okay, great. When did you lose connection? When did you lose connection? Just let me know, so I will continue the story of Meloine from there. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's a small thing. All right. So, recap. Okay. When I put the book away, the connection was interrupted. Okay, I don't know. We're getting Meloine here. Somebody doesn't want you to know the end of this story. Yeah, okay. So this guy is married to this weird girl who he kind of met on a kind of sexy forest fountain, and then they get married. They're kind of having problems, but she's very rich, and she builds a kingdom and like becomes a noble person. Then they have these kids, but all the kids are deformed somehow. And she has one condition: never look at me on Saturdays. Saturday is my girl day. You know, I have my girl dinner, my girl bath, my me time, alone time, whatever. I'm gonna cry into a cat or some shit. That's my deal on Saturday. But then Raymond, getting old and kind of middle-aged, gets some like, there's some talk about you, man. The fuck is up with your wife? What's she doing on Saturdays? She getting up on OnlyFans or some shit? Where's all this money for this castles coming from anyways? You pimping your wife on OnlyFans, my man? That kind of stuff. So he grows resentful. He arranges some weird trick shit. And then he looks through the keyhole on a Saturday. Curious Raymond. To his dismay, he beheld his wife in the water. Melusine, her lower extremities changed into the tail of a monstrous fish or a serpent. So she was like, whoa, snaky coils. Oh my God. Unbelievable. So so whatever, this guy, I don't know what's his problem. Like, I mean, if I was lucky enough to be in that position, I mean, I don't know. You know? It's just my kind of stuff. Well, anyway, some drama happens between their sons, and then, like, basically, this asshole confronts his wife and says, "Get away, you dishonorable serpent. You corrupted my race." I guess he watched too many bad YouTube videos and became a race realist. And he says, like, "Get the fuck out of my life." And at these words, the poor girl fainted. And then he was also regretful. He said, "Okay, sorry, babe. We'll work this through, whatever." Like, of course, he doesn't know a good thing when he has it. Raymond. All right. But then she revives. Bam. She says, "Oh, look well after our kids, my love, because it's now farewell forever. But now I'm going to do something," she says, "but you will be cursed because you will always see me hover over this fair castle I built for you." And then she like runs out of the window, flails herself out of the window, and then falls down dead. And then long afterwards, it was believed that unfortunate Melusine would be visible over the ramparts of the Lusignan castle. If anybody is from France and if you can corroborate this story, I'd be very happy. And then the guy was miserable and then like, what the fuck? But he kept seeing the sexy snake girl, sexy, edgy snake girl, I mean, he pumped her full of babies and shit. Just because he was like resentful of stuff, yeah, he still kept having her visions over the Castle Lusignan. And if you look carefully, maybe you can see her too. Wow, what a great book, huh? Curious Myths of the Middle Ages. Why don't you take a look at this book? While I answer a call of nature, then when I come back, I will read everybody's comments, and then maybe we can have a Melusine drawing. That would be so cool. All right, I'll be right back. Who's gonna get this now? Who's gonna buy this book? All right. That was a great. Like, thank you for suggesting me to do this. All right. Yeah, it's a great book to read. So let's look at it. Yeah. People start. Pascagoulien says interesting to Lamia's story. Mikin says ay. Kojira remarks on our previous discussion on Turkish dinosaurs. I'll get back at this. Mikin says Melusine sounds like my ex. Lol. Now this is true, but I'll give you like Daddy Cosmin bro advice, okay? Whether you're a boy or a girl, I don't care. Whoever you date, boy or a girl, like never backtalk your exes. Because like I know you didn't mean it this way, but it's like a very common thing and a very kind of like poor character. I mean, I'm not saying this to you per se, but like even if you had the worst experience, never talk behind your exes. Everybody has ups and downs. You think I was like this cool all the time? I have some horrible, embarrassing stuff. I've done and have been a horrible, embarrassing person in my past. Long story short, like, okay, we're all like, most of us are like hot-blooded men out here, okay? All right. And like I like a sexy, snake, sultry, etchy thing more than most. I'm actually really bent that way. You probably got the gist. But when there's a fictional representation of like a crazy girl, okay, like, don't be that guy who says that sounds like my ex. Like, okay, maybe you did have a horrible experience. I'm not gonna deny that, but it's like leave that unsaid. Is all I'm saying. Like big brother, daddy Cosmin advice. The less you do that, the closer you will get to completing this triangle. Yeah. Red and green is an unappreciated color combination. Yes. Now we had the stream glitch. Steve Mopkinen says, my man accidentally married a Lamia. Yeah. He didn't know how lucky he was. Stupid fuck. Up Sandfish says, moral of the story. If a woman Seems willing. It smells like fish. Think twice before. Okay, yeah, a little sexist, but I don't care. You know, I got this rare condition which makes me completely immune to smells. Like, so I wouldn't be able to smell a snake girl or a fish girl or a centipede girl or a musk girl or anything. Like, I don't care. Oh, wait. Global warming says for real. Yes, global warming, you are real. Extent of human contribution to your causes might be debatable, and it's certainly debatable. Corporate greenwashing is certainly a scam to trick people out of their money. But anyways, Steve Mopkinen says, when Snake Girl has self-esteem issues and doesn't let you look at her on Saturdays, just don't, man. Don't guys have those time moments too? We do, but come across in another way. Noah Dinosaur says, Cosman, do you work out? No, but I eat sparingly. I'm actually a really skinny guy. Yeah. I'll leave the rest unrevealed. Brew Lizard says, I recently got a university spec evo project about mythical creatures and I choose Yeti because I want to make a bear into a Yeti. Can you give me any tips on how to turn a bear face towards a humanoid face? Yeah, do it a kind of pug snout. Like, look at the snouts of dogs, like wolves and pugs, and then try to apply the same thing to bear snouts, basically. Pascagoolian says, I find it painful to listen to people disparage people I know personally behind. Yeah, one of my least favorite things either. In this part of the world, basically the Mediterranean world, it's fucking endemic. Don't you think I see this all the time? Like 3 people are sitting in a table, one of them leaves, the other 2 starts talking them all the time. And women do this more than men, but men lead only stay behind by a small margin, you know? It's fucking disgraceful. The Lezo J says, thank you for this episode. It's a nice treat during a derealization episode. Oh my god. Is that what I think it is? What? Let me look it up. Oh, feeling basically derealization is being so depressed that you feel people things are not real and like you're living in a movie or a dream. So it's an accepted medical condition. I hope you look, I am all real. Okay, I'm all real, and I hope you pull through. And whatever's causing this, I hope it stops being a problem soon. Slothman Prophecy says, do you still keep in touch with Simon Roy? Simon Roy is a great comic artist and my personal friend. Yeah, we talk and we like each other's stuff online. He has a new comic out now, and he actually wanted me to design creatures for that world's universe. I'll still have to take him up on that task, but hello, Simon, if you're watching. Yeah, respect your monster girl wives. No. Oh yeah, let's draw this Melusine lady, huh? How about that? While you send me some more questions and comments, and I will read them all. Krista also says she's really enjoying this story hour. Well, thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I always speak constantly on a high volume, like boom, boom, boom. Sometimes like can get exasperating. So I hope that doesn't happen. Okay, let's draw Melusine. It's Melusine time. Let's see. I mean, I have a fucking type. I know what to draw. Mhm. Mhm. There you go. You can see I keep telling this in all my lectures that like I keep telling this in all my podcasts that basically in real life there are no lines, only fields. So when you're actually drawing lines, you're actually defining very narrow fields. Like once you get the hang of that, it's very easy. Like I don't need to draw every line of this like girl's tentacles, snake legs, but like oh yeah, the water is really flowing out from this fountain now. Oh yeah. God damn. I like drawing so much. It's so relieving, so relaxing. Yeah. So yes, let's draw some like fountain kind of shit with the water coming out of it. And then let's draw the kind of castle. Yeah, so like there's also a class element in this story too. Like she was found in a forest by, remember, this guy who was working for a lord. So he was not noble himself, but she gave him nobility. She gave him kind of like a class one up, but he squandered it all. He just could have respected her thing and like I don't know. All I'm saying is if it was only Daddy Cosman in there, that story would have ended up with the domination of the world by a Yig race of Mediterranean reptile hybrids. Because I mean, if I saw that, oh my God, you're a snake, goddamn girl, why haven't you been telling me? Then it would be Pound Town, Rattlesnake Roundup. How do you like it, everybody? Okay, all my stupid jokes aside, I forgot the belly button. Would this thing even be born or hatched out of an egg? Who knows? Look, all I'm saying is it's very interesting because there's also a class element in this story. Like in some ways, it reminds me of that amazing Kubrick film, Barry Lyndon. All right. I hope you like this. If you subscribe to me on Patreon, you can see artworks like this. Hearts are coming in. Thank you. If you make a heart, does this shit even work? Oh! Oh my God, this techie filter. Oh God. Get out of here. Yeah. All right. So lots of comments as I was drawing a snake lady. Okay. Johnny Waffle says, do you think the strange textures of deep sea and cave animals suggest animals have a deeply ingrained sense of aesthetics? I think animals do have a sense of aesthetics, even like primitive animals like insects. But you see this not in deep sea animals because the features you see in the deep sea or the cave, they are, they evolved out of necessity because of the pressures and the dark. But if you look at colors or the features that get sexually selected, like horns and stuff, it really shows that animals do have a sense of ingrained aesthetics. And I mean, all I'm saying is sexual selection is not purely mechanical. It was generations of creatures preferring to be with blue males rather than red males, or vice versa. And it drove the evolution of all those colors and weird features. Ornis I says, the whole gossip and backtalk shit is one of the reasons I find it hard to get along with my family who lives in the Mediterranean. Look, in the world, I don't think there's any family without drama in it, but I think Mediterranean families do have more drama. And like the worst is when Mediterraneanoids became boomers. Then they become like not just insensitive, but also crass and even sometimes arrogant and resentful. I don't know what's wrong with them. Polydaudelus says, just got on the stream. What's the topic? We were talking about these amazing stories from the Middle Ages with the snake lady Melusine. Yeah. Ahmet Kemal Gürel says, selam dostum. I love your artworks Kösemen Bey. My pleasure. Eyvallah. Çok teşekkürler. Thank you so much. Mikin says, for my speculative book project, I'm often flooded by ideas. How do you choose the ones to keep and ones to toss out? Actually, if you're doing something big, keep them all. I think go with the ones you like drawing the most. Yeah, go with those you like to draw the most. And the rest you can just hint at in the writing. That's how it works for me. Jaden says, hello. Hello, Jaden. And okay. Steve Mopcannon says, really off topic, but what are your favorite foods? I'm mostly a pasta person. I also like seafood that's not fish. So calamari, shrimp, noodles, pasta, ravioli, lasagna. No, not lasagna. I don't like ground beef that much. Noah Dinosaur says, if I remember, you studied at Cornell University. Yes, I did. I studied for like nearly 3 years, then dropped out. I did the whole dropout of Ivy League thing before it was cool. Why? Because I was homesick. So I was accepted to Cornell with actually some sort of grant. Yeah, and in retrospect, it's kind of silly of me, but I felt homesick and I just transferred to another college in Turkey. I've never regretted the decision academically. I've always done what I wanted to do. But I mean, I didn't know the world was going to end up like this. So my assumption back in the early 2000s was like, I mean, economy and life, quality of life was going well for everywhere around the world all of a sudden. I remember when I was growing up, like you did not even have diapers, not even for rich families. So like when I was a baby, they had to like boil linen to tie under me. And I grew up in like a position in life for which I'm eternally thankful. So from that, we were going on to the internet and stuff like, so if in hindsight, you know, I should have like held on a bit more, and the homesickness was really bad. And then graduated and I fucked around in the US. Who knows? America is not easy either. What did you write for your entrance exam? So I took the SATs and I aced them. Like my English was perfect and it was a record in Turkey. For maths, I struggled, but I took passable grades. So I had good SATs. And throughout my final year in high school, my grades were really good. So there's that. Also, I wrote this entrance essay because they all had essays like, why do you want to apply to Cornell? And I remember it very faintly, but so a few years before this, and it was like elementary school years for me, okay? I had been to the Cappadocia region in Turkey, the famous region with all the weird penis-shaped stones and shit. So one afternoon there, I got lost, and well, this area used to have a sizable proportion of Christian Turkish people until the 1920s. Then they were involved in a population exchange with Greece because ostensibly they were Christian. They were sent packing to Greece. Long story short, I ran into, I didn't discover this place. It was already like, I ran into one of these churches, and I mean, I'm not Christian, but I was like, wow, okay, there's this thing that they never tell us about. So I wrote to them basically saying that, like, life in Turkey is great, but even from casual encounters like this, I could see that ideologically and as citizens and perhaps as human beings, there are certain options that the state forecloses to people, not just in Turkey, but any other countries. And I remember writing about, like, I understand what I have as privilege, but if I study at your institution, I will have access to a world-class education. I'm interested in insects. You got one of the world's biggest insect collections. I'm interested in science. You got a particle accelerator under your football pitch. You got libraries. And most importantly, you got people from all around the world I could swap ideas with. Something along those lines. And I was accepted. And I remember there was this, like, let's say, one of my classmates like, you write too simple. You should use more sophisticated words so they know your English is good. Motherfucker, I broke an SAT record. I was always writing in simple English. And people were writing about, like, okay, this is elementary school, so some fluff is warranted, but they were like, hey, attending your institution will allow me to blossom as an individual. Nobody gives a fuck about your blossoming. They only care about your foreign student money, which is usually not under financial aid. So that's how I got into Cornell. Good grades, be authentic, be real. I know what you want to study. Noah Dinosaur, please clarify. What do you want to study if you go to Cornell? Clarify, and I will answer. I like this conversation. Lezo JD says, does the Legends of Europe book have anything about the Polish man in the moon, Pan Twardowski? It may or it may not. I mean, let's not detract now. Get this book. Even if it doesn't have anything about the Polish man in the moon, it's a great read. And if you're actually interested in speculative evolution stuff, like, legends like this can inspire you too. When you're designing aliens, says Polidaedalus, do you start by the anatomy, biology, and evolution, or do you start by sketching? Sounds weird, but I'm actually an image first guy. I mean, I just basically have my piece of paper. Oh, you are simping so hard for her, aren't you? Anyways, so I don't know, like make up something like this, you know. So like something like a doodle, really, like not even a coherent shape, something like this. Then I take a second pass. Mm. So something like this becomes something like that, you know? And then now I can make up stories like maybe this tail thing was like a shell that the creature lived with as a juvenile, so it could hide in it as a baby. But now it's become kind of like a resonating chamber or a display organ. Then I install all the like you install piping later is all I'm saying. Hmm. Why? Blake Richardson says, "What's a good art material to use for painting creatures? Just anything. Like this is a hotel pen. I just stole it from a hotel years ago. Usually start with pencil, do your lines in pen, then learn the ways of the ink and learn how I've been telling this. Lines are not lines, lines are filled. Figure that out. Then you can move on to paints and start with simple layers of paint first. Like don't go with like a complete acrylic painting from the beginning because it probably will frustrate you. Just have fun. That's how you learn. What did you major and minor in? I was going to do my major in filmmaking with like something like a concentration in zoology. Oh, Noah, you're going to study entomology. Okay, so Cornell has the biggest library, like has one of the biggest libraries for entomology. I actually spent like weeks there, just like sometimes even skipping classes, just reading the insect books because I knew what I wanted. Actually, let me show you something. Wait. Hmm. Huh? From Ivy League schools to my humble kitchen. Don't be so caught up on stations in life. Don't be so caught up on which school where you went. This is, of course, easier said than done from a point of slight privilege, but don't frustrate yourself for this shit. Life's too short to be pissed off all the time. All right. Did you miss me? So, I was studying in Cornell University and hanging out at the library of entomology, library in the entomology department a lot. And I nicked this amazing book about the study of insects. I didn't really steal it because they had lots of copies for this. It was just an old teacher's edition that they were almost going to throw away. So I kind of took it. One of my most prized possessions. Introduction to the Study of Insects. So, Noah Dinosaur. If you want to apply to Cornell University to study insects, maybe engage in some lab work, assist at a local lab, and perhaps get in touch with like some scientists or through Twitter and something. Like just get in touch with them and see what you can do. Like, because if you chalk up some extracurricular achievements before applying, that will always help you. Also, like I gave you the whole shtick about like being more open to the world and being kind of like breaking the molds of local education systems. But in your case, you will be like, you already know what you want to study. But so refer to the wealth of opportunities they have. Also in Cornell, they make you take core classes. So even if you're studying entomology, they will make you study like art history and history in general. So maybe combine that, like you want to be a scientist, but with a more greater knowledge of the rest of the world. You want to avoid the compartmentalization in life sciences, and you just want to be a more like have a bigger, broader view of the entire picture. So there. If it's anything, I can write up a recommendation to you, but I don't think they'll care about what I'll have to say. Get in touch with people, talk about their facilities, and talk about their core curriculum program. You'll be fine. And let me know if you go in there. Ethem Sönmez says, I'm studying economics. Well, I'm a dropout. I can't really write references for them. And I'm not very well versed in economics either. Biotechnology. Okay, Noah Dinosaur, you could also say how important nutrition is going to be for tomorrow. Everybody expects a future of like electric cars and Mars colonies and shit, but I think it's going to be like back to the 1950s for a lot of parts of the world. So nutrition, farming, these are going to be important, and biotechnology and entomology will have great roles to play there. Also, write up on that angle. Please use what I told you. If you want, go back when the stream is on the channel. Go back, rewatch it, and take notes. Yeah. And yeah, keep your GPAs high. If Cornell doesn't cut it, if you know how to study, go to other places. Also, if you're going to Cornell University, it's going to be very cold. Like you better be used to the fucking cold. And like that was something which broke me. Like there were days when I went out and my boogers were freezing. All right, I think we cleared most of the comments. Ethem Sönmez says, you have your own book, Stanford books? Yeah, I made one. A few years back, I was actually in between jobs, which is just a graceful way of saying I was unemployed, fucking, and actually made the rent for a month or two by just designing people's book stamps and selling them to them. So nice side gig. Noah Dinosaur, can you acknowledge all the recommendations I gave to you? I don't want them to be lost in the transmission. This book is amazing. It's got all these cool line drawings. These are like the flies. Look at this. Wow. See, unbelievable. Yeah. Blake Richardson says, "What's your favorite color? Yellow or tangerine, I think." Clam James says, "What did you think of Zukon 2023 from an outsider's perspective?" I think it's a great convention, and my friends are organizing it. So I will only have good things to say about it. Maybe they need to like diversify more for the next round. So bring in more comic artists, more people from the entertainment industry, and then you can have like additional like people from also from outside the Tetsu sphere. It also needs, I think, a kind of separate day or a separate venue of events within it for speculative evolution. So it will be Spec Evocon within Tetsucon. But John, Darren, and John's wife, Jenny, they're doing a great job at it. And if you're watching, hello. Ethem Sönmez says, "Time for me to sleep. Have a great stream. Take care. Good night. Allah rahatlık versin. İyi geceler. Bye bye." All right, we got 27 people here. Nice. Persistent crowd. Thank you for bearing with me. Let's see the hands. Who is from Turkey? Come on. Let me know. All the Turkish brothers and sisters. Some people are pouring me hearts and 100s. Kojira is from here. Hello, dostum. Easter Faust also said hello. C Cyborg said hello. Yeah, I kind of overlooked these in the earlier phases of the chat. Darya Yavuz says hello. Hello, Darya Yavuz. I'm feeling great today. The cat is from Turkey. No wonder, because people love cats in Turkey. But Pirate was born in Turkey. Wow. I did not know this about you. So, what are the other parts of your family like, if you don't mind me asking? C Cyborg says hello, egg back. Darya Yavuz says good to hear. 29 people in the chat. Wow, what a nice night. It was fun reading the Meloine story to you. All right, you tell me that 30 people in the house. Great. Hello, everybody. And let me refresh my water. I'm dying, please. Under your skin. And now I understand it all. You tell everything. Do you motherfuckers know the best thing about that band, Nirvana? I'll tell you what. Kurt Cobain's girlfriend, Courtney Love, was actually a much better musician than Kurt Cobain. I've been listening to her band. They're called Hole. And was it called Hole? Wait. Yeah, the band is called Hole, like Hole. They're Savannah isn't bad either, but they're fucking amazing. I really recommend it. All right, so I'll show you this with these pens if they're water based, and these are. So these Artline Ergoline pens, which I stole from a hotel, and I don't want to name anything more. These things actually like dissolve in water. So if you actually soak them with a brush, you can get these cool watercolory shading effects. That's what I'm doing here. So let's get some of the more rude parts of this drawing kind of sorted. You see, you can do like little touches to accentuate her arms, lines around the face. All right, let's try this now. Here you go. Yeah, it looks really cool. You meet her in the forest. How do you open? All right, Bot Pirate's life story is here. Let's read together. My grandfather was born in Mersin, based Güneyli grandfather. His mom was Southern American. So American South, not South America, the continent. Father was from Southern Turkey. He married an Estonian. My father's side is Danish. Wow. His dad was adopted from somewhere in South America. And I grew up in Turkey for 18 years, studied art in the US. I live here now. My family lives all over. Divorced parents. Sorry to hear that. Well, I mean, life's an adventure. Please, if you ever come back to Turkey, let me know. And we'll have coffee together. That's a promise. Let's check some messages and shit. And now I understand it all. All right. Blake Richardson says, what kind of brushes are the best for watercolor? Well, depends on what you're doing. The best kind of brushes, actually, I don't have them here. These are, so I use two kind. I have a mobile watercolor kit I carry everywhere with me. And basically the best brushes are like probably size 10 that kind of start fat but taper to a point. So when you have this, the paint and water is all stored here, but you can actually have a very thin line. And if you press the sides, you can have a very thick line. So like size 10, like fine hair brushes, I really like them. If you want to do some really intense details, you can also have like one of those brushes that are like kind of thin, but with long strands like this. And when you soak these, they kind of become like this basically. And you can do very fine details. So size 10 fine hair brushes are my recommendation. C Cyborg says, did you get a haircut? Actually, no. I might. These are kind of growing out of control, but I like them too. Fernando Katecaix says, when I'm designing dragons, I base their wings on the wings of pterosaurs. Okay. Great. Sea Cyborg has been crocheting. It's very nice to keep you company while you're engaged in a creative endeavor. Any further questions, or I'm gonna call it a night in like 15 minutes or so. George Whittlebosh, Lorraine McLarian Hoop, nice name, says, "This is my weekend now, ha ha ha." Well, the weekend comes early. Is there a right way to do binomial nomenclature, says Fernando Catecaix? Well, some scientific names are really silly, actually. You think that you assume they're all like scientifically rigorous and erudite and descriptive, but one of the most famous names belongs to some insect. I don't remember the genus name, but the species name is FMS or something, which is a Latinized shortened version for the letters F, S, shit, fuck something. So in this expedition, there was this. Oh, well, I'm gonna have to show it to you. Wait. So there's this book, which is actually a website. It's called Curiosities of Biological Nomenclature, and the website is actually curioustaxonomy.net. Okay, so this website compiles the stories of other weird names and like all sorts of scientific names, and has like notes about them. So like this section is about, for example, creatures named after Hollywood movies. So so there are lots of things named after Gollum, for example. Gollumia is a snail. Gollum itself is a genus of cat shark. Gollumiella is a kind of wasp. So people name scientific names after a lot of things, and not all of them are serious. But go look up this thing, Curiosities of Biological Nomenclature by Mark Isaac. Like, take your notes while I look at some comments. C Cyborg says, "What is your most grandiose project?" Probably Snaiad. Mikin says, "Any more progress on Snaiad?" Yes, I'm drawing new creatures, but I think I'll upload some on Patreon tomorrow. So follow me on patreon.com. Yeah, there are many silly names. Everybody's talking about name of the Phallus impudicus, the name of a fungus, loads of stuff like that. Oh well. Still a silly name. So lots of silly names. I think just like if you're making scientific names for an alien world, maybe think about what people and scientists living there are going through. For example, if this is a colony world with no chance of return to Earth, maybe there would be a creature that looks like an earth fish. Okay, I'm just making up the story now. So through convergent evolution, swimming animals, some of them look like fish, and the scientists there, if they feel homesick for Earth, they could name those like fake fish after something like Terrapiscoides, which is like earth fish forms. And maybe that's something going on. So yeah. Slothman Prophecy says, do you have any dreams of your creatures or in general? If so, what's the latest one? Well, I am going to record a big new YouTube video about the world of dreams, and just stay tuned for that. That's coming up. I do keep a dream journal regularly, and in some earlier podcasts, we used to actually leaf through the dream journal, and I actually had like some very vivid dreams recently, but they're not the sort of dreams I can tell you about. Ethem Gömmez says, I fell asleep, but then I stayed awake. My girlfriend is studying biology and she's interested in plants and evolution. Do you have any book gift suggestions? Okay. Wait. You would be surprised to know that Daddy Kozman has an entire library to botanical travelogues. And if you want to get a gift for your loving girlfriend, and I am guessing maybe she's Turkish too, you need to get her this book, Flora of the Silk Road, an illustrated guide by Christopher Gardner and Başak Gardner. It's an expensive book, but don't half-ass with gifts. So these guys, this couple, walked all through the Silk Road, and they took pictures of plants. That's the whole deal. And in many books about plant photography, they kind of do this weird contrast thing to the photographs, which kind of makes them seem unreal. This book is printed out in the best colors. The production values are amazing. The colors are beautiful. The science is impeccable. I really recommend this book. Like, you could, I don't know if you're in Turkey or living overseas, but if you're living in Turkey, you could go to the Pandora bookshop and order this. I really recommend this. It's not cheap, but I mean, it's the kind of book you would be reading for the rest of your life. It will be an heirloom. Unbelievable stuff. There are many books about like botany or like old botanical prints, but just look at these. The photographers also know landscape photography really well. So you see the whole scene, the whole environment. And I mean, there's a secret to photographing plants. And you have to capture the plants, but also capture their environment. And I mean, this is an amazing book for that. Word Airy Kurush or Penny. So there. George Vitelbash says, if you're thinking about scientific names, please also consider the names of the genuses, especially if there's some weird stuff going on, if the creatures on that planet don't use DNA. So I think you're implying that if they have a different source of evolutionary descent, maybe you'll have different ranks of names or terms. Cool, makes sense, yes. Ömercan Gökçe says, when is the next All Tomorrows coming? Go to patreon.com and support me. Ethem Dönmez, get this book. Fernando Cotacoic says, I am designing chromatic dragons in D&D. Can you give me Latin and Greek names for red, blue, green, black? Red would be something like rugosa or erythros in Greek. Blue, I don't know, cyanos. Green, viridis or chloros. Black, mavros in contemporary Greek. Melanos in Latin, I think. And white, I believe. Well, I forgot about it. Just use Google Translate. Okay, now Ethem Dönmez says he can sleep, knowing that he got a great gift recommendation for his botanical girlfriend. Well, I hope you had a great time, everybody. I think I'm going to go to sleep too. It's nearly 1 a.m. here. I had a great time with you. We had a great time talking about the story of Melusine. It was a great middle of the week adventure with all of you. We had great drawings. We talked about Cornell University applications. I hope you took notes, my dear friend. We talked about botanical stuff. We talked about all sorts of cool stuff. Wherever you are, have a nice day, nice night, and please consider supporting me on patreon.com. This was a great stream. I will give you one last minute for your last messages, and I will read them too as I sip my night water. Pascal Gullian says good night. Noah Dinosaur says adios, Kozaman. Mikin says bye, everybody. Davspar says thank you, Kozaman. Noah Dinosaur says thanks for the talk. Kojira görüşürüz efendim, Mr. Kozaman. Kojira, why don't we do an interview for your channel? Let's put the riz on your followers. Please consider this and get back to me. I'd be honored to be your guest. Okay, and we'll do it in Turkish too. Great idea. Okay, write to me. My email is c.m.kozeman@gmail.com. Write to me. Let's make it happen. Krista says, have a great night. Have a great day. Easter Faust says, so long as the night is long. Well, this was a really wholesome stream. Any last messages before I hang up? I'll give you one more minute. Well, okay, that's that. Have a nice time, everybody, and good night. Boo!